Welcome folks, welcome back to what I'm calling the conclusion for a day's ride part 3, and this is part 3 in the series of 3, and I hope you had a chance to watch part 1 and 2. But I filmed the conclusion for this the other day, and then today as I was riding south and doing some additional filming, coming back I witnessed a lot of people, all right, on their motorcycles just throwing trash on the side of the road. This is a big road, small roads, it didn't matter. They were just whoosh, chucking it off the side of the road, somebody else's problem, not theirs. And what I wanted to address there was the other day, what I put in the conclusion, and those of you that watch my stuff know that I deal a lot with the environment as well as pollution. The other day I kind of sidelined it a little bit, saying that I guess the reason for most of this is poverty. Well, I got news for you folks. The people that were throwing this shit in the road today and into the bushes, wherever it was, they were not people of poverty, all right? They were high school kids, college kids, adults, you name it. They were not people of poverty. They were just people that didn't give a shit, all right? And I know that sounds harsh. Maybe it's meant to be harsh, because you know what? These are the very same people that sometimes I can talk to and they'll tell me how beautiful Vietnam is. Well, if Vietnam is so beautiful, then why do you trash it? Think about that, folks, because there are places here that you're literally swimming in your trash, all right? So the only way I can figure how to address this is basically be very blunt, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this Part 3, day's ride. It has nothing to do with pollution, but I am going to add that, you know what, folks? If you want a beautiful country, then maybe you need to think about it just a little bit more instead of throwing your crap. It's not my problem anymore. It's somebody else's problem. I don't care. Well, that attitude's going to catch up with you, as it already has in many parts of Vietnam. Think about it, folks. This is Hobo Rider. This is the end of my series of Day's Ride. And for those of you that treat the environment in a proper way, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy this. With that, it's Hobo Rider looking back at you one more time. Thank you. Welcome folks, Hobo Rider back here with you, and for those of you that watched Day's Ride Part 1, you actually saw the women and a couple guys actually planting this field by hand. And now this is a little over a month later, and you can also see that the rice is actually the rice itself is actually starting to form on the stalks. So just an example of how fast this stuff grows in this particular environment. And with that, this is actually Day's Ride number 3. So I hope you follow along on this. We're going to be visiting some other areas that might be familiar and some that might not be. But nonetheless, I welcome you back into what now I'm calling a Day's Ride part number 3. So welcome for following along, folks. I really appreciate it. So what you're watching here is they've actually taken the anchovies in a cold bath. They rinse them, and then from there they go on to screens, and then I'm going to show you what happens next here, where they actually go to the steam wash. But these ladies, as usual, it's ladies, but nonetheless, that's what's taking place here. They come out of these big blue barrels that are filled with ice, and then as you can see the lady dumping them, and they'll scoop them out and put them on these screen mats, and then they go to the steam. And I'll show you that right now. So here they're in the hot water baths, and they'll stay for a specific amount of time, and then this man here who controls this, he will raise them out like he is about to do right now. You can kind of see the stuff that foams off the top, and then they'll clean that stuff up. But in comes the lady with the rack. And there it goes, down into the hot bath. They sink. You're kind of using counterweights, or not necessarily counterweights, but weights, so to make sure that they stay in the water and they don't float up. And what he's doing here is he's actually adding salt to the water. That's part of the cleaning process here. It's a very labor-intensive process here. But this is how the anchovies that are dried, and these will go into snacks or pizzas or whatever, but these will be dried and then be shipped off to a packaging plant. Whereas when they're actually turned into fish sauce, it's a different process. And then the lady takes them outside, and in comes another lady. She'll pick up another batch, and they go outside onto the screens to dry in the sunshine. So what the ladies are doing here is they're rotating these mats that the fish are drying on. So then they come in, and as you can see here, they flip it. And so now the other side of the fish will be dried in here in the sun. And like I said, this is what they're doing here. They just flip the mats. They put one mat on top of another, knock the fish off onto the new mat. Now the fish are back upside down from where they were. And now they have a better chance to completely dry. It's a beautiful day here to do this. Well, I got the ladies, they're flipping, and they actually were dancing here a little bit ago, so they're having a good time. But this is so much work. But these lovely ladies, they're incredibly hard workers. There we go. Now we got them all dancing. So one lady is waiting in order to bring the dried batch back in, while two other ladies go out, and they will be picking up additional anchovies that have been dried in the sun. So here the ladies have just arrived with another cart full of the dried anchovies, and then someone here will start dumping them on the pile. So this is a pile of the dried anchovies. that have just come back in from where they were drying outside in the sun. And now from here they will get bagged up and go to its final processing, turning into whatever they might turn into. So these are the dried anchovies bagged up. And then from here, as I said, they'll go to a processing plant where they'll actually be turned into, if you would, snacks for pizzas, for whatever they choose to use them for. But these are the dried anchovies. A wonderful lady here, told me I could come in or at a distance, which is I need to do. I don't want to be in the way of anything like this. This thing would cut you in half without even thinking about it. Well, welcome folks, Hobo Rider back with you here, and this is going to be day ride number 3 that we'll be riding through. But I wanted to introduce you to the Southeast Asian sail frog. You say, what's a sail frog? Well, a sail frog is one that's been squashed to the point like that, and it's very flat, very dried out, and believe it or not, when you throw it, it sails. Just like that. Sail frog, Southeast Asia. Well, welcome back again, folks. Back to a fishing village where obviously I spent a lot of time. And the reason for that is I'm a pilot as well as a sailor, and so I'm attracted to the water, I'm attracted to the boats. But more than anything, I find the fishing here is pretty incredible. And it's very, very interesting. And it's a very difficult way of making a living. But nonetheless, I'm back here again today, and I'm hoping I can show you some different fish and a different kind of catch. So with that, I hope you follow along back here in another fishing port in another day. There's a lot of discussion going on about whose fish are what here. This is something rather interesting, is they mark their fish buckets here, or the buckets that apparently fish are going in with ice, and they put a playing card, different one on each one, and I guess that's how they identify who belongs to what, or whatever, I'm not sure. And since I don't speak the language, I probably won't find out, but I think that's what it is, because these ladies, they know what they're doing. So I'm really not sure what these fish are, but I'll have to look them up. And anyhow, here they're getting ice packed and then get put into the truck, go to a processing plant. Those would be the hairtails right there. This is a squid right here. So I'm not really sure, you know, what kind of fish these are, but what they are is definitely filleted, and they also looks to me like there's a pepper seasoning that's been put on them. So I'll try to figure out what kind of fillet this is, and then be able to get back with you on that. Okay, folks, you might wonder why I'm being really quiet. Just like Elmer Fudd when he's hunting a bunny rabbit. Actually, what I'm trying to fill you in on is what they call nappy poo. Here in Southeast Asia and other places in the world, where they actually sleep from about noon to 1:30. And it's called nappy poo. And you don't want to be very noisy during that time. And they don't even honk their horns during that time. It's the only time. Come to think of it, even the roosters know when nappy poo is. Because if they crow during nappy poo time, no more rooster. So just trying to fill you in a little bit on some of the culture. And it's called nappy poo. You should be very, very quiet. Just like when you're hunting the rabbit. Well, folks, I want to thank you for following along on my 3-part series called ADays Ride. And I hope you enjoyed the last one here, part 3. And that will be the conclusion to the project that I'm calling ADays Ride here in Southeast Asia. I hope you'll follow along on my channel, and that channel is James Herbert, aka Hobo Rider. And I look forward to seeing you here in the near future with the possibility that I may be going to Europe to ride on the Trans-European Trail. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted, but I really appreciate you following along. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I hope you continue to follow. I really, really appreciate it. It's always nice having you with me on my journeys. Thank you very much.